Hello, my friends. Welcome back. We are doing a mini field trip today. I want to showcase some smaller neighborhood nurseries. So I have stopped by one that I have gone to for a very long time, and this is the Magnolia Garden Center. I know the owner, James. He's actually worked here for a very long time and then ended up taking over the business. And I'm a huge supporter of small people, small businesses doing amazing things. So for today's video, I want to do something kind of basic, but super important. We're going to talk about plant tags. They are not in your plant for, the just kicks, right? This contains valuable information, and it is one of the components that I think enables every gardener to find their perfect match. Essentially, we can think of ourselves as doing a little bit of a matchmaking service, right? So we are going to do matchmaking for our garden, our needs, and then the plant that will create that perfect little pairing, that little match made in heaven. So let's go around and we're going to take a look at a couple different examples. So you and I can start the conversation of why do we even have all these little pieces of plastic in our buckets? What I'd like to do is I'd like to take a look at a couple of different examples of plant tags. And what you're going to notice from these various examples is that we're going to be drawing your eye to specific information. So let's take this Tassel Fern, for example. Right on the front, it's going to give you some specific information right here at the very top. Typically, when you see a little half sun there, that means it can handle part sun to shade. When I see these two symbols together, I think to myself, okay, part sun means it needs to receive gentle morning sun. If I throw this in hot afternoon sun, it's going to die a horrible death. So anytime I see it paired with a full shade symbol, I know that this is going to be morning sun only, okay? And then when you pop it over, see what's really fun is, here, check this out. Growers are picking up on the clue that sometimes we don't even take this out. We simply pop it over like that. So let me take this out and show you what we've got. So on the back, we've got some basic information. We have exposure, hardiness, water, size, and bloom, right? So right here, it's going to give us our brief overview of the plant. A couple things to note though. Size. This is the size it will eventually grow to be at maturity. Pay attention to this. Don't sleep on this. Don't think just because it's tiny now, it's going to be tiny forever. Also, one thing to keep in mind here is how do you want your plants to exist in the landscape? Do you want them to be touching? Do you want them to be kissing? Or do you want air between them? Great information. It's also going to include different kind of highlights, right? So is it deer resistant? Is it going to be super tolerant to rabbits? All this information can be found here. Next, we're going to take a look at a shrub plant tag. This is for a beautiful, beautiful shrub. This is called Azalea. It's a heavy hitter in the landscape world. I use it a ton in a lot of different applications. When we look at our plant tag, obviously, if ever you have a plant that is going to have a bloom cycle, they're going to showcase the bloom, right? And then you can really see here a really good description of the foliage. Again, we have our heavy hitter items. What is this known for? Okay, it's known for great foliage. It's known for attracting butterflies. It's deer resistant. All really, really great things. When we flip over our plant tag again, this is where we get into the meat and potatoes of growing this plant. And this is where it's really important to pay attention. Okay, here we go. It says zone 6. So this is the lowest it can go. What this means is that you do not want to plant this. If your zone is lower than this is a no-go for you. You're going to treat this as an annual. The other thing is it says sun to part shade. Now, do you remember me showing that other plant tag where it was part shade to full shade? We are going the opposite direction. When it goes part shade to sun, this means it can handle that afternoon sun and it won't freak out on you. The other thing that it's going to include here is it's going to tell you information to where this is going to want to be planted. So we know where it's going to go in our garden. We know maybe where it's going to go, like if it's going to belong and behave as a shrub or if it's going to behave as an annual in our garden. And then a lot of times on here, it will also include information on what kind of soil it likes to be in. So let's take a peek here. So right here, it doesn't show us any special needs, so you don't necessarily need to pay attention to this. But if this plant tag says it likes well-draining soil and you have clay soil, that's not a good match for you. And so I want you to choose a different selection or be prepared when you're planting to amend the hole with lots of sand and lots of compost so it can actually drain freely. The other thing that's really fun here that this grower does is they give suggestions for companion plants, which is really great. All right, friends, we are at the Magnolia Garden Center, so I thought we should read a garden center plant tag. So any nursery that is larger, that really takes pride in showing off its many displays, is probably going to have a supplemental sign for their trees. It's going to give you, again, really good information. It's going to give you growth rate. That in a tree is really important because if you're investing in a tree and you want it to be a certain height, how long is it going to take to get there? So it's going to also give you, so right here you can see we've got a moderate grower. This is one of my favorites. This is Little Gem Magnolia. It's amazing. Prefers part to full sun. I typically do this in a full sun situation. I haven't done much with growing this in a part sun condition. I feel like it likes a lot of that heat. It is a southern grower. And this is going to give you just like the brief snapshot. Once you have zeroed in and you're like, okay, this is a great tree for me, you're then going to go to your plant tag for more information. All right, friends, so once you have established this is a good plant for you, let's go in a little bit closer. And typically your grower is going to include another plant tag actually attached to the tree. This is where it's really important. I make a note. You can keep a spreadsheet or a note in your phone of the different things that you're growing in your garden, but it's really important if you have any care questions, your first place that you're going to go to is Google, and you're going to want to type in the botanical name, not the common name. The botanical name is going to bring up a lot more crucial information than if you type in the common name, because you could end up bringing up a little bit of everything, right? We want to go straight to the source. What specifically do we have questions about? And then when you open your plant tag, and sometimes Monrovia does these doubles, they're converting a lot to singles. There's basically just a little bit of information about the grower. And then right here, it's going to get into some specifics. So right here, this is saying full sun. So like I mentioned earlier, I typically plant these in full sun. I feel like they like it a little bit better. Watering. Once established, water deeply when dry. So an establishment period for a tree, you're really talking a couple years. So you're going to baby this guy for a couple years, and then you can kick back into more what I like to call maintenance watering. It's going to give you probably more specific bloom information, a bigger hardiness zone range. And then again, this reiterates moderately growing and reaches 20 to 25 feet tall, 10 to 15 feet wide. So when you think about this in a landscape and you're planning your tree position, you're not only thinking about how it is right now, but also where it's going. So if I plant this tree with a bunch of sun-loving perennials right around the bottom, this is going to be great for a couple years, but then I know I am going to need to replant this base with something that's shade-loving because this canopy is going to get pretty big. So now let's take you into something that is going to have a little bit more specific information and a little bit more detailed care that you're going to need to take note of. Let's take a look at some annuals and let's take a look at some vegetables. Let's take a look at this Bopa. So like I said, this is an annual, and it's going to include a lot more information on the care and treatment of this plant. So let's take a look. First of all, again, we're going to note here at the top, Bopa, this is the plant that it is. We've got the specific variety here. Now, as we flip it over, it's going to give us a little bit more information that we're going to take into consideration when planting this, okay? Semi-trailing, how the plant's going to behave. So it isn't autumn. These all are really small right now, but we want to know how is it going to behave in a planter. Next, is this going to be a one and done bloomer, or can I expect blooms throughout the season? So there we go. We want to look for that information. This is a continuous profusion of blooms. So this is going to say, continuous, meaning all summer long as this is going, okay? Next, as I'm placing this plant in my container, I wanna know, how big am I gonna get? So when it says grows 3 to 6 inches tall by 18 to 24 inches wide, this is a trailer, right? So I know that I can plant a nice mid layer above this and it won't crowd it out. And I'm gonna position this directly along the edge. I don't want this in the middle of my planter because it's just gonna go 8 ways from Sunday and not gonna be great. Next, it's gonna talk about placement, right? So this is where it's gonna give you some more information. What kind of fun stuff can I do with this? Well, I can put it in a hanging basket, I can put it in a container, a window box would be fabulous. And last but not least, this is another really important thing to take into consideration, the care. Plant in moist, well-draining soil. All right, friends, if you know that your pot is not on drip irrigation and you are terrible about watering, this is not the plant for you. Likewise, I'm not gonna plant this with a, say, sedum, for example, that loves to dry out. That's not gonna create a harmonious plant combination. So make sure when you are picking out your annuals, you are pairing like with like, same loving conditions to same loving conditions. Last but not least, we are on to our veggies. This is a spinach, okay? So let's take a look at our spinach plant tag. This is going to give us some valuable information, and there are always things that I want to know when I am growing this. Number one, what am I actually growing? So we've got a spinach. This is the Olympia variety. I always want to know that I'm growing organic. It says it right there at the top. As I flip it over, okay, this is where we get a little bit more specific. If I put this in my garden, how long until am I going to eat this, right? If you know that you're an immediate gratification kind of person, 45 days, that's a beautiful target. Now, the leeks that I planted a couple weeks ago, those ones, that's 110 days. That is a far cry from 45, so you're going to need some patience for that variety. Now, next, the features. This is where you are going to match this plant to your own needs. So right here, it says, most productive dark green plain leaf spinach for year-round sowing and harvest. Slow to bolt and displays better eating quality than others. An excellent choice for cooking and year-round fresh spinach salads. So what this tells me is if you are in an area that receives a lot of heat and your spinach typically goes to flower before you get to enjoy it, this one is a better choice for you. If you know that bolting is not an issue, maybe you can do this or a bunch of others, but it's really important that you know your growing conditions so you can match yourself to your best plant. For me, this is interesting because it says year round. Typically, I have areas of my garden that get too hot for me to enjoy spinach in the summer, so this is a variety I might try. Last but not least, care. Now, this is where I start to fudge what I see right here, because I will look up various ways of growing this. I will look at square foot planting. I will look at traditional rows. And this is where I get to be a little bit creative. So this is saying planting 6 inches apart in rows 12 inches to 18 inches apart. I do mine a little bit more condensed, but this is going to get you off on the right foot. This will at least get you in the ballpark of where you're going. All right, my friends, I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has been just a quick little hit. And like I said, these plant tags are the key to us getting that perfect little plant match for your garden and helping you be incredibly successful. Because I think it is the worst thing in the world to take a plant home, plant it in your landscape, and have it fail on you. We at least want it to get to the best start possible. In any event, hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm going to see you in the next one. And in the meantime, say hello to your garden for me. Thanks for watching.